my people, 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 my people. How y'all doing on this Saturday? Everybody good? We good? Levels is good. Levels is good. Levels is good. It is the Urban Therapy with Sun Show, Saturday morning, the next to the last day of May. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like not only did this month go fast, but the year is going fast. First, I think at first it was at a good pace. January, February, even March, I think we were coasting. But as soon as April hit, it feels, I don't know, maybe it's just me. It seemed like as soon as April hit, then we got to May. Now it's like, pew! Now here we are, one half of the year in. After tomorrow, on Monday, is the first of the month of June. And we will be exactly 6 months in. That's half, 12 months in a year. We at the 6th month. At the 6th month, I should say. And we getting it in. I hope everything is going okay for y'all. I hope y'all had a good week. Enjoying your weekend right now. Kick back, sit back, relax and chill. Do your thing, max, and get real still. All right, but today on the Urban Therapy with Sun Show, we are talking about midlife crisis purchases. I'm talking to all of my 40 plus year olds, really 45 plus, but we're gonna let the 80s babies rock out, all of them. Okay, so yeah, midlife crisis purchases. You know, when you get to a certain area in your life, when you get to a certain age in your life, when you get to a certain point in your existence, you start thinking about the things that you have done, the things that you haven't done, the things that you should have done, the things that you need to do. And you may be in a mad rush to go ahead and get them done. Knock them out. Start crossing things off your list. Bucket list. Gotta cross that off. Cross that off. Especially after age 40. Because in my opinion, now it may not be the same for everybody because some people might still be getting high. But, you know, that's a whole nother story. But in my opinion, at 40 years old, you start thinking about your mortality because you're not a baby anymore. Nobody is going to call you young anymore at 40 years old. You're not old. Don't get me wrong. You're not old at 40. Calm down, chill, relax. Okay. But at 40 years old, you start thinking, how much longer will I live? How much longer will I have my good health? How much longer will I be able to run good, stay up late, party all night, keep up with my kids? At 40 years old, some people already have grandchildren. So you start thinking, you start thinking about your legacy and the things that you're going to leave behind for people to remember or to have for themselves. So when we start talking about having a midlife crisis, that's kind of like a negative connotation because it doesn't necessarily have to deal with anything, you know, in a crisis situation. But we do know that a lot of people, when they get over 40 years old, 50 years old, they start, you know, buying things, doing things. There's a certain amount of freedom. There's a certain amount of freedom that's associated with that. Like, listen, I'm old enough to do whatever I want to do. You may have already raised your children, cleared everybody out of the nest. You may have been married a time or two before, and maybe you are married now, maybe you're not, and you're thinking about whether you want to do that again. Some people who haven't had children, by the time that they're 40 years old, they start thinking about having children. You know, like maybe I give it this last shot. I know people who have done it, waited until they were over 40 years old to have their first child. Number one. Now, I wouldn't encourage that. But I can't tell anybody what to do. And you start thinking about certain things when you reach the age of 40, 45, 50, 55, well, I don't, if you have your first baby when you like 50 years old, I don't know what to tell you. But I do know somebody online who did that shit. I was like, what? You wait, what? Hey, the internet is a crazy place. And everybody that's on the internet comes from somebody else. I mean, from somewhere else where it may be even be crazier. What's going on, T. Carrie? Right morning? No. She's not here. We're here. It's all good. Stacy White, what's good? And Wheelie Trust, how y'all feeling today? I hope everything is good on y'all end. I hope everything is going well. So we're going to have this conversation today. Midlife crisis purchases. The things that you may buy just because you're getting older and you feel like you should have it, or you should have had it, or that you feel like you should have done it, or that you should do it. You ain't getting no younger. We ain't getting no younger. If you haven't been married or you've been involved in a relationship for a good while, good many years or whatever, and then, people going to say, well, you ain't getting no younger. You need to go ahead and make a move. Shit will get off the pot. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to a midlife crisis. There are certain things that you may look towards your peers, your family members, and your coworkers, whoever is in your life, and you start thinking like, damn, there's some things I need to do. Too many things that I haven't done, and I want to make sure that I clear these things off of my list before I leave this space, before I am no longer carbon and copper. I want to make sure that I get some things done before I am no longer carbon and copper on this earth. Those are the elements that black people are made up of. But it is what it is. All human beings are composed of carbon. We are carbonated people. We are carbonated people. But anyway, midlife crisis purchases. What are some of the things that somebody going through a midlife crisis might make sure that they buy? Now, you might be thinking like maybe a sports car or an RV or, something like that you might be able to get if you can afford it. Speaking of affording something, when you get to 40 years old, 50 years old, you start thinking about the things that you can afford at that time. And it can make you start thinking about the decisions that you have made, especially the financial decisions that you have made over your lifetime. What do you own? What do you have? What can you do? If an emergency right now, and I'm going to seriously ask y'all this question. If an emergency arose right now, which needed $10,000, how long would it take you to be able to come up with it? Let's say, listen, we have a $10,000 emergency right now, and we got to have it by Monday. If we don't get it by Monday, everything is going down. Everything is messed up. Nothing is right. Going through a midlife crisis, you may ask yourself something like that. Yeah, $10,000. I don't have $10,000 available. I'm not touching $10,000 right now. In order to get $10,000, maybe I have to go into my 401k. Maybe you don't have a 401k. Not everybody has that. I don't. I don't like the way it works. I'm like, I'll invest otherwise or save otherwise in the 401k. But anyway, so, $10,000 for a well-to-do person, not a big deal. But what about you? Would you be able to go to the bank and be like, look, I need 10 stacks. And I'm not talking about on a loan, in a loan type of situation. Some people make enough to whereas, okay, I wouldn't be able to have it by Monday, but 2 paychecks, I can have it. They might make that much, but it also shows that they don't save that much. So you start thinking about these kinds of things going through a midlife crisis. $10,000. Emergency situation. Somebody need 10 stacks right now. 10K right now. 10 grand right now. How long would it take you to get it? These are the things you think about when you're 40, 45, 50, 55. You start thinking about the decisions that you've made in your life, your financial decisions, your emotional decisions, your familial decisions, your job decisions, your community decisions, your personal health decisions. There aren't too many things that are worse than being sickly at 40 years old. Plenty of people are. Some not by because of any fault of their own. But if it is your problem or your fault because you drank heavily or you smoked heavily or you just didn't take care of yourself, you drank, you drugged, you fucked all kinds of crazy, you know what I mean, unprotected. Hey, hey. So these are things that, you start thinking about when you're 40 years old. Do you have enough time to fix it? Can you repair the bike and get back on it and run the race and win? What up, Derek River? What's good? What's good? T. Carey, right, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your. Always have my directly right into your. What's up? What's up? And Derek says, "Damn, I can't withdraw 10,000 at a drop of a dime. This is motivation. I'm just whether you can or you not. First, let's get something straight. I'm not trying to diss nobody, but these are the things that when you turn 40 years old or older, you're gonna start thinking about like, yo, I ain't really right. Living check to check, even though your checks are pretty good. I ain't really right. Frivolous spending. I ain't really right. Have you taught your kids to save money? I ain't really right. Do you have kids? And just because you don't have kids, that doesn't mean anything. But at 40 years old, you might be thinking like, yo, let's say you making good money, 6 figures, and you don't have no kids. If something happens to you tragically and you pass away, who gets the money? The state is going to get your money. So your estate affairs, your business affairs, getting your house in order, deciding who's going to get what. Because I'll be goddamn if I want the state to have a dime of mine. No. So you understand what I'm saying? Y'all seen how people act after a funeral? Now imagine them acting like that after yours. So you in the afterlife like, oh man, yo, God, can I listen, I'll go down as a ghost. I just want to, I don't want, like, nah, you had time while you were there, my child. Now you are here, relax. They're going to be all right. Because that's how God really talked. No, my child, you can't go back. That chapter of the book has closed. Your work was done. I called you home. Anyway, they're going to be all right. They just don't know it. That's how the Lord. Okay, all right. Maybe at 56 years old, I'm not 56 years old yet. I got a couple of months to go, and I need to be careful because, last year, Malcolm Jamal Warner, he was close, and, rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner, But anyway, you start thinking about what you have access to, where you have allowed yourself to grow, So, let's get into it and get involved. These puzzle pieces right now. We gonna solve. I said, get into it and get involved. These puzzle pieces right now. We gonna solve, y'all. All right. So Urban Therapy with Sun 752. And this the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Saturday from 2 p.m. till around 3:30-ish. And the reason that we say 3:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Sunday. And it is Sunday. on a Saturday. And it is Saturday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I am your host, Son 752, aka Omar with the and if you can't say Omar with the well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Son show. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should as well. Today we are talking about midlife crisis purchases. 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 Yo, whose purse is this? I said midlife crisis purchases. You start thinking about the things that you never had and how come you grew up without a dad and things that was in your control and not. You trying to make your things hot, but you ain't trying to blow up the spot for real. Yo, you know what time it is and how it feels, yo. How it feels to have and not to have, and whether you're still hanging on the ass. It's time to grow up. Yo, throw up. No, not no gang signs. You out of your damn mind. It's gonna be all right, but first, after 40, got to get your game tight. So I'm working on mine, working on yours. Yo, it's time for us to go on a world tour. Never been out of the country yet. Are you scared to get on a plane? Yeah, it's time to get. All right, so y'all, let's go. Let's go. I think we warmed up enough. You know what I mean? I'm in my warm-up suit. So this is what they're going to do. I'm gonna go over here, get my chair. Hold on, let me do something else first. Man. You know what I mean? Because last night I ain't saying allergy medicine, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you ain't allergy medicine and shit. You gotta get the allergy medicine, everything good, huh? You know what I mean? Get everything all right. You know, you can't be having things not being, you know, where it's supposed to be. But we gonna make sure that things get, you know what I mean, they supposed to be. All right, so. Oh, good, y'all still here. I didn't know if y'all was gonna leave. Get the chair over here. Sit down and let's prepare. So, do y'all get the gist of what we're talking about? What direction we're going into? Do you know what we're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know? I was on a urban therapy show. We was talking about midlife crisis after 40, you know. Stacy was here and Derek and Carrie too. So for the next couple of hours, you know how we do. All right. Make sure y'all hit the like button. That's all. Listen, I'm not going to sell y'all nothing today. I'm not going to ask you to do nothing special. Please hit the like button. Please hit the. I said, please. Okay. Stacey White says you don't want to have kids with no deadbeat. Well, and you said don't rush it. The thing is, by the time you get to 40 years old and you don't have a child, I'm thinking about 40 years old, you may feel like you should have deadbeat identification already. You're like, now I might not be 100% on board correct with this, but I'm thinking if you haven't learned to identify snakes, rats, shysters, bullshitters, con men, fronters. If you haven't learned to, you know, identify people who don't have your good intentions at heart, well, what did you spend your teens, your 20s, and your 30s doing? Because those were the times that you went to school. Those were the training grounds. So I'm thinking at 40 years old, you should be able to read the room pretty well. Like, oh, okay, I see what this one is doing or trying to do. Now, that's not to say that you're always going to get it right. It's also not saying that you might be you might be the shyster. You might be the con man. You. It's possible. It's possible. But anyway, and if you haven't been able to identify people who don't rock with you or have your who don't have good intentions at heart for you, by 40, you have some things to work on. You're probably going to be feeling that way. I would feel that way. Like at 40, I should know who is really, really down with me and who's not, or who's just trying to get my money. I don't care if I've been tricking all my life. I should know why she's with me. So, midlife crisis purchases. What are some things that people may buy when they are going through a midlife crisis? What are some things? When you start looking at your life, when you start thinking about your age, when you start thinking about your mortality, what are some things that you may want to cross off your bucket list? Check. What are some things that you might want to cross off your bucket list if you're going through a midlife crisis? Stacy says you could be a late bloomer. Yeah, well, if it took you till age 40, yeah, you real late. But, we all grow up different. Oh, damn. That's not gonna work. I gotta get some lemon. I don't like, I can drink tea without lemon, but I prefer not to. So y'all just gotta give me, y'all still gonna hear me. So, but I gotta get some lemon. I gotta get the lemon popping. That's what I need to do. Give me a piece of limon. A piece of limon. There you go, right there. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. It don't taste bad without it, but I really prefer it with it in, So, we all grow up differently. So what I may have experienced at a young age, you may not have experienced. Same thing with the things that you've experienced, I may not have experienced. So let's say when I was younger, I traveled a lot. I went to a lot of places, saw a lot of things, met a lot of people, things like that. You may have stayed home most of the time, but you may have gotten it popping while you were at home. So you may have been going to school more, working more, building a fortune, stacking your money, securing investments, things like that. So while I was around the world, sightseeing and meeting people, shaking hands and taking pictures, you might have been at the crib making sure that by the time you turn 40 or 45 or 50, whatever, that you could do all of those things easily without missing a beat or even feeling it financially at all. So that's just an example. Just an example. Let's see. Stacy says, and you can have a weakness that you just can't help. Woo! Uptown Shell. What up, Uptown Shell? Says, you preaching. I once had a guy ask me for a donation. He said he was building a school for boys in Wilmington, Delaware. I saw the scam a mile away. You talk about Umar Johnson? He's not. Yeah, I disagree. I don't think he's scamming. What I do think Umar is doing is Umar wants to do everything by himself. And that's the problem. See, you have to understand some things about Umar. See, I know Umar. I actually know him. I actually rented a space to Umar. So Umar went to Scotland School for Veterans Children. So he grew up in a boarding school for military children. So he's used to being away from his family. That's if you notice, he always talks about the kids being separated from their moms and their dads. He really believes that the moms and the dads are a problem for the kids. And because he grew up in that type of situation at a boarding school, and him being a school psychologist, he sees things a little differently. Yeah. Okay, let's get it popping. Kimberly!
Hey.
What's going on, Ma? How you feeling?
I'm feeling. That's it.
Okay. Hold on a second. Let me finish talking to my people's Uptown Shell. So because of his experience growing up in a boarding school and him being a school psychologist, he's seen the evil that parents can do. So he believes in black children, particularly black boys and black women. Not necessarily, I never hear him talk anything good about black young women or girls, but he definitely understands the value of black women because they are the ones who donate to, they give them money and they support them a lot. So he wants to get this school together, and he's doing it. But the thing is, in order to run a boarding school, you have to understand that has to run 24 hours. So you have to have 24 hours on staff. And even the donors are not asking like, well, what's the payroll going to be in order to get this place up? Because it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap. You have to have house parents. You have to have a maintenance staff 24 hours a day. Nutritionists. There's a lot to this. You're going to be taking care of these kids on site. It's not like they come from home, get dropped off to school like a regular school. They're going to live there. And it's only boys. So, I don't think that he's going about it the right way, because I don't think that he trusts anybody to see his vision, because he's lived the vision that he's trying to make. The difference in the vision is that those were all white people that were house parents for Umar Johnson at Scotland. They didn't have no black people up there as teachers or house parents. I know that for a fact. 2 of my brothers went there. So I get it. I would never send my child to a boarding school. I don't give a fuck. if I'm not a good enough parent, then I'm going to go to parenting class or something like that. But anyway, what up, Kim? We are talking about midlife crisis purchases. So the things that you may buy because you turn 40, 45, 50 or whatever crisis time comes in your midlife, and you want to, cross it off your bucket list, get it out of the way, finalize things. You understand what I'm talking about.
hmm Well, hey everybody. Um, dealing with what we're doing, my family's dealing with right now. Definitely, it's morbid as it sounds. I think one thing people would start purchasing is their funeral plot, their last resting place location. Because of course, not everybody wants to be buried. Some want to be cremated. Some may want to be in a mausoleum. But I do think that's the purchase. People start thinking about late 40s, at least early 50s. Um, when you reach that age, it's something that you're thinking about because you have less time on the other side than you do at the beginning. So um, I think that's something people start considering.
Yeah, funeral plots, and that shit ain't cheap. Funeral arrangements are expensive as hell. So I'm thinking life insurance is one of those things that you may take into consideration of buying um at midlife. Definitely. The thing about it is some people don't think about getting insurance until they already have health problems, and now they can't get the type of insurance that they would really like to leave for their family unless they pay a whole lot more money. So these are the kind of things that you really want to start thinking about really when you're in your 20s and 30s. But
Yeah.
if you don't have any children at in your 20s or 30s, then buying life insurance is strange behavior for real, for real. Now, life insurance agents will tell you, oh, you can have mutual funds, and they'll show you how to make investments and all that. Oh, that's cool. But it's a life insurance company, and buying life insurance without having any beneficiaries is something that you don't have to do. You can find other ways to funnel your money into an investment account. Real shit.
But even with or without insurance, I still, people are considering their final resting place. My grandfather, he did not purchase his final place or wishes until he was until he was in his 70s.
It
Um,
happens. It
he
happens.
he started paying the funeral home where he wanted to be in his 70s, and then no, I take that back. He was in his 80s because he was 93 when he transitioned. So
Okay,
he
so
didn't start paying for his space till he was in his 80s.
not life insurance, but his actual
Yes,
funeral cost.
yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess you could do that at any age if you have the money.
But I would think early on just because the cost goes up, even if you pay for it today, it's going to be a different unless you go today.
It's never been cheap. Like
Um,
buying like undertaker costs or funeral what do they call it? Like the funeral home, the
well, everything is separate. Like you got to pay to open and close the ground.
mm-hmm,
You got to pay for the cement encasement.
mm-hmm,
That doesn't have anything to do with the casket itself.
mm-hmm,
That's just the stuff that has to do with the ground at the
mm-hmm,
cemetery if you choose to be buried.
mm-hmm.
But if you choose cremation, then it's still stuff that comes after that you have to pay for somebody to come to the day at the crematorium. And of course, there are specific days that all of them are open, all of them are closed. That's, I guess, a law in certain states. So you have to be mindful of the day because your host, if you have a memorial or an actual funeral. So I'm saying this because my grandfather had an actual funeral because he was military. So he had to do the military portion of the funeral first before he could be cremated.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that process, and they couldn't do them on the same day because I guess my law here is they don't do cremations on the weekend. So we had to have the funeral one day, and then cremation another day. So there are just so many separate expenses, and in all honesty, you you don't want your ashes to be, even if you want your ashes spread somewhere, thrown somewhere, whatever, you still have to have a receptacle to put them in, and there's a cost there. So it's just so many things to go along with it, and you're right, it's expensive, and it just seems to increase day by day, and you're almost at the mercy of the person who either is in it for the right reason or in it for the con reason. So you still have to deal with that too, because some of these people are just out here on some BS. Like, I can charge you 75,000, and that's what I'm going to charge you
Well,
temporarily.
well, here's the thing. Um, if you buy your burial plots and all of that stuff while you're still alive and healthy enough to move around, then you can shop around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's when they've already put you in the ground. That's when it gets crazy because they know you up against it. You need it now. You understand what I'm saying? So, um, I do think that in a midlife crisis or whatever, or whenever, yeah, you might, be thinking about your funeral arrangements and all of that. I think what your grandfather did was pretty smart. You know what I mean?
It will.
Yeah, I think that was pretty smart. Now, a lot of other people would have left it up to life insurance. Now, life insurance, as the older you get and the more health issues that you experience, it becomes more expensive, and you start, your premiums become much higher, and your payout becomes much lower. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. So, um, around age 40 is a good time to start thinking about, purchasing life insurance, purchasing a policy. Your 20s and your 30s may be even better, but we have to take into consideration that some people feel like buying life insurance and funeral plots and stuff like that are actually calling those things into our space and making them happen. Hey, our superstition, our intuition takes us where it takes us. I'm not even mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I think it's funny how people will tell you not to not to call like losing your job or getting hurt into your space, but they'll tell you to go spend your money on life insurance because that's not calling death into your space when you have literally just paid for it. A lot of men don't really like life insurance, particularly black men. They ain't really with all that. Black women seem to relish in it. You'd be hard pressed to find a black woman. Look, I think black women have been the ones that made life insurance companies rich. And it makes sense when you think about the social impact of it because, and I don't want to bring the party down or get all controversial, but I'm just keep it a buck because black people have been through so much in this life. It's easy to convince them that their afterlife will be better. So it's easier to get them on board for paying for it while they're still alive.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, but the men don't seem to be falling for it as much. You know what I mean? I'm not saying at all because plenty of men have left life insurance for their families and stuff like that. But a lot of men opt to leave actual tangible property and stuff like that. Because when it comes to life insurance, when you really think about it, okay, you're going to get your funeral arrangements paid for and you're going to leave some money. Let's say you leave $100,000. How long is that? I mean, how long is that? How far is $100,000 going to take you? We've been talking about that shit like that's life changing money. And it is life changing money while you're still here. But $100,000, you may be making close to that in whatever job that you're working at nowadays. And even if you're not, like $100,000 is not going to buy you a home these days. You can forget it. unless it's is downtrodden or a fixer upper or something like that. And it'll still be hard to find even a small house for $100,000 in this economy. So you may be able to put a good down payment on it. Like you go ahead and drop 50 on it. And anyway,
I want to say, I know with my grandmother, one of the things I think she did that was wise. So she paid for all of her funeral expenses out of pocket, and she had insurance, and she had assets. So she made sure different things were split up across the board between everybody,
right,
grandchildren, her children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren. Um, that way, there was no burden on the estate. There was no burden on insurance. And everybody walked away with a piece of whatever. And then all of her funeral expenses were covered. So I think that's definitely a very wise way to do it. That way, insurance is not, because sometimes they hear insurance, they hear dollar signs at these places. So they definitely will upcharge you, unfortunately. I mean, I had to catch some people doing it before. So they are upcharging you when they hear insurance because they feel like, oh, this is just a vat of money that we can take advantage of or pilfer from. So I do think the idea of paying for those expenses separately, if you can, are kind of wise, especially if you have children or somebody you gotta leave stuff to.
yeah, yeah. I think it's not only wise but responsible to handle your business affairs before the greedy people start handle it for you. You know what I'm saying? There's some things that you should put in place, whether that's the result of a midlife crisis or not. You should handle your BI. All right. So what are some other things that people going through a midlife crisis may purchase?
I have an associate. I think she's going through a midlife crisis because she's buying some of the stupidest stuff I've ever thought of in my life. And I'm just like, she's showing the signs of somebody who's going through something crazy. And her purchases are just random nothing things. Like now all of a sudden she has this obsession with boots. She's buying boots and black dresses. She's buying all these black dresses. I'm like, I've never known you to give a damn about boots or black dresses. But she's buying these things in bulk and abundance and wigs, gray haired wigs. These are the things she's just making these bulk purchases of. And I'm like, And other people are saying it. We all think she's going through a midlife crisis where she's not buying cars or, some of that other stuff or going on trips. But she is definitely obsessed with boots, black dresses, and gray hair wigs. And her response when you ask her is, well, I'm older. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense, but go, girls, pop off. I don't know.
No, I that's a good example. Your friend, your associate, or whatever, is a good example because I mean, when you get to a certain age, you start thinking about the things that you've never had or never been able to do. And you probably get to the point where if you have the means to do it now, you're like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like getting a tattoo. Like you getting your first tattoo at 50? Hey, that's what you. Huh?
My cousin's mom did that. She got a tattoo. She was like 57. I was like, she getting a tattoo.
Hey, that's what she wanted. It ain't hurt nobody. It may have done something personal for her. She may have had personal reasons for never getting a tattoo before.
Yeah.
It could have been spiritual reasons, religious reasons. It could have been because somebody that she was with didn't think it was a good idea, or she didn't think it would. Maybe she grew up in an era where it wasn't respectful it wasn't respected for a woman to get tattoos, especially multiples. I've known people who are my same age, but they grew up in an area where, or in an environment where it was certain things weren't welcome. You know, it's funny because my auntie, may she rest in peace, my auntie Elisa. Lisa used to come to visit us in Philly, and she always had a good time, and she always liked it here because she felt like, damn, down there, y'all don't have to worry about, you know, what other people think about y'all. Y'all can do your own thing. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, because as free as she was, she was a whole Sagittarius. She didn't give a fuck. And but evidently she was influenced or felt restricted by other people having their judgments, because she was into the church and all of that kind of stuff. She was married once, but she had children out of wedlock. Well, she had three kids.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. What am I talking about? She had two. You know why I said three? Because when her daughter, who was the oldest, she had a child when she was a teenager, and Lisa took care of this. It was like her son. You know what I mean? So it was like she was raising three. It was like she was raising three kids, literally. And anyway, but yeah, the last time she visited Philly, she was like, I wish I could move here. She was like, because y'all able to be. She looked at it like y'all were like, we were able to be free. Like, we do what the fuck we want to do. We want to buy something. We want to mess around with somebody else's woman or man or whatever. We do it. And she figured it was so big here that, she wouldn't have to come under fire. Not saying that she wanted to mess around with somebody else's man, but maybe she wanted to be more free. Maybe she wanted to be freer physically or sexually or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And she figured she could do it here, where in Milwaukee, of all places, she felt like it was too many restrictions, too many eyes on him. But what she was showing me was that perspective matters. Perspective matters. And so, yeah, get a tattoo or one thing she had done, and it didn't work out the way she wanted to. She had bought a house. She had lived in an apartment, for most of her life. And then she bought a house, and it was a nice house. It was a good crib. And she lost the house. I'm like, how, Lisa, well, her two good job working ass, college degree getting, you know what I mean? She was a published author. I'm like, how did you lose your house? Well, she lost the house. And that was a point of contention for her all the way into the time she passed, even though she moved in a condo. I'm wondering if you hear what I'm saying here. You know what I mean? She always made enough money to live where she wanted to live, but somehow she fucked up with the house. You understand what I'm saying? But you still got money for a condo. Even though the condo was like an apartment. I was like, this is a condo? All right, condo. 3-bedroom condo. All right, fuck it. But,
how did that happen? Was it the responsibilities of the house that became overwhelming, and it was easier to maintain a condo versus the responsibilities of the house? Because it can be overwhelming. You know that. You're a homeowner.
Yeah, but I'm not going to lose my house because I'm gonna pay the mortgage, or I'm stay current with the taxes. Now, somewhere along the line, she must have fell short on that. She didn't have a house that long. Like, I want to say 10 years, but I can't. I can't say that. But let's say it. Let's say she had the crib from 1995 Let's say she had it from 95 to 2005. Let's say that. And she passed in 2013 and she was living in a condo. And she had lost the crib. So, you know, dealing with houses, I know that it's not always easy to transition from renting to buy it. But it should be because it's cheaper. Except for
It is ultimately, but if you run into just the maintenance itself, and then a oops happens, then it could really set you back. Like again, when I'm talking about this house, that is, I had a humongous bill that I've been paying out of pocket on top of everything else. I had a almost $15,000 bill altogether due to my hot water heater exploding. So that and I didn't want to rely on insurance for it. I just let me or a loan. So let me just pay it out of pocket. So when you add extra expenses like that on top of everything, like keeping up with your grass, keep your lawn, taxes, the house note, the insurance for the house, any other thing that could happen, a break in an appliance or something like that. If something happens with the window, and you got a tree in your yard, your tree falls on something, or branches hit something, all the things that come along with it. And heaven forbid, if you live like in a place where I live, there's such a big deal about the trash that the city will sue you over the smallest detail with the trash. If they change their rules, all those things can pile up. Mm-hmm. So you just never know.
This is what I do know. You pay that motherfucking mortgage and you pay them taxes. Everything else can wait. So I know what it's like to fall on hard times. I know what it's like to not be working for a while. And I do know what it's like to almost lose your house. Almost lost mine. But that was for years of unpaid taxes, not months of unpaid taxes, years. See, when you rent, you don't pay your landlord after a couple of months. Eviction proceedings can take place. They can start eviction proceedings after 1 month. You can't start foreclosing on a property after you miss a month or two. It takes a long time. You got a straight year before you will lose your home. A straight year. You ain't gonna lose your crib. You ain't gonna get foreclosed in 8 months. And I don't care if you don't make no payments. It's a whole different process. So, there's a certain amount of neglect and dereliction that has to take place for you to lose your home. So, nonetheless, it happens. It happens. So, what I'm saying is, staying on the topic, mm-hmm. At 40, 45 years old, people start thinking about things like that. Like, I don't have my own crib. You know what I mean? They might be thinking like, at 40, I should have my own crib. I should have a house. And they may start working on it, or they may put it off a little bit longer. What's going on, Marvina? How you feeling, Ma? Good to see me some you. But, not everybody experiences the same type of feelings of deficiency at the same time. We're just feeling around for what some of the possibilities and probabilities might be. So things like getting a tattoo. Getting a tattoo might be liberating for some people because it might be like cutting your hair low. Like my husband never wanted me to cut my hair, so I kept my hair for him, and he was over there playing in some other bitch hair. To me and you, that might sound like, so you cut your hair because You like you cut your hair to spite your husband, your ex-husband? Well, yeah, because I felt like now I don't belong to him anymore. He doesn't have dominion over me anymore. Hey, it might not be my reason. It might not be your reason, but it's hers. And this midlife crisis is, you know what I mean? The midlife crisis angel on her shoulder might be like, yeah, cut that shit. Cut it, cut it, cut it.
And sometimes just for transformation purposes, period. Sometimes you, especially with women, you reach a certain age and you're like, I want to do something different. So you just start doing things. And it could be a haircut, it could be a hair color, it could be a whole let me get in shape. It could be for some of these people who believe in cosmetic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a vanity project and they want to do a bunch of cosmetic surgery, get a nose job. Could be lip plumping, all these different things. So it could be a physical transformation that people are spending for. I know this one who's obsessed with the boots and the black dresses and the gray wigs. She went and did some kind of body stuff a few years ago, and I was even then we were like, I think this is vanity and it's midlife crisis. Because she went and went all the way to the DR to do it, and I was like, girl, what in the okay. So yeah, transformation. Physical transformation is what some people are spending their coins on in the midlife crisis, I think.
Yeah, to each his own. But midlife crisis will make you do some shit that you may not have, that you wouldn't otherwise do. But it's all on you. What's going on, Mrs. Grim Ripper? What's good? Thanks for coming through. So yeah, let me see. What we got? We got buying burial plots, life insurance, getting a tattoo, buying a home. How about okay, traveling? You may have never traveled before, never been outside of the United States, never got on a plane. You might be thinking like, you know what? Maybe I had kids that where I couldn't afford to take everybody, or I couldn't go, or I maybe I had some type of restrictive thing going on that limited my access to being able to get away. You might be thinking like, you know what? I watched all of my friends go to the Caribbean, go to South America, go to Africa, go to go to Europe, go to Asia, go wherever they wanted to go. And I've always wanted to go, and I never went before. So now I'm about to go. And I'm not just going to go one time. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go see this. I'm going to go see that. Getting your travel on. A lot of people do that when they retire, and they finally, they have the time and the resources to do it. They be out. My
Yeah. One of my favorite sisters, she is making her rounds all through Africa. She's already got a trip planned for next year for 3 locations, and she's already visited 7 thus far. And she's about to retire, and so she's building up to that. But I do believe that is part of her midlife crisis stuff. And her thing is definitely she wants to hit as many places in Africa that she can.
hey, the motherland, supposedly, allegedly. But hey, I mean, I ain't mad at it. I think regardless of whether you go to Africa, Asia, South America, Europe, or whatever, it's always good to actually get your eyes on other parts of the world because you cannot experience anything by pictures or even video or whatever. When you go there, when you go to places, you feel the culture, you feel the spirit. Like this really is the other side of the world. Like this is some shit. There's some things you can't experience on video. You just can't do it. You can't experience it virtually. There's some things you got to see. And culture is one of those things. So maybe, midlife crisis for some people compels them to get on up out of there. Like get on them planes, get on them boats, trains, automobiles. I mean, some people might get their driver's license at age 50. Who knows? Who knows? I know people who got they license late. They was all the way in their 30s. Haven't driven shit before. And I know people in their 40s and 50s who don't drive and can't. Like, not doing something is one thing. Because I know people who have a driver's license and they continually renew it and they don't drive shit. But they could. You know what I mean? They ain't they out of practice, but they have the tool to do it. And then I know people who ain't never been behind the wheel because they scared. And that literally is the reason. They'll tell you all that other shit. They scared to get behind the wheel. Like, well, fuck it. But who knows? At some age in their lives, they may decide, it's time. You know what I mean? I'm tired of being a passenger all the time. Sometimes I'm tired of going places where I don't really want to go and having to wait when I don't want to wait. Now, I ain't gonna lie, for most people, it don't happen that way. But it could. somewhere out of the knowledge of Sun 752, it could happen. But yeah, traveling is one of those things. People be crossing over their bucket list when they go through a midlife crisis.
Another thing people do going through a midlife crisis, especially women, and I not to offend anybody, I think it's more Black women who do this, but they seek more education. Academia is a big deal at a certain age, I think specifically for Black women, and it doesn't hurt anybody, in my personal opinion. But I do see more of my sisters who are, stepping into, their kids are grown now, they may have grandbabies, they may be about to retire or, sick of the same rat race they've been running, and they want something different. And then they also want to enhance their experiences and skills, maybe change that notch that'll make a difference in their income, or just to learn something else. I see more Black women who are choosing academia in midlife crisis %.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't consider education to be a purchase, but you do have to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? And
most are not getting financial aid. Most are paying out of pocket. I pay out of pocket.
Like I said, I wouldn't consider that to be a purchase, but you do have to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let me put it this way. I don't consider education to be something that you can buy. It's something that you experience. It's something that you get. It's something that you receive, but I don't think you can buy it. But yeah, you're right. You're right. You know what I mean? People, especially, people who are still working. You know what I mean? They get tired of seeing people with degrees come and pass over them for jobs and shit that they know that they may be more experienced and better at. I don't blame them. And some people, you got to consider the amount of people who went to school when they were 18, 19, getting out of high school and fucked up. They are in the some college category. And that haunts a lot of people. Like, yo, it's unfinished business. Unfortunately, when I was a freshman or a sophomore or whatever, I was messing around with these chicks or chasing behind this dude. And I got pregnant. And when in my freshman year, my sophomore year, whatever, I had to leave school with every intentions of going back. And I never went back. And then, I wound up raising my babies and got married and blah, blah. But I wanted to go back and get my education. So they did it. You know what I mean? So, and that's, that happens to people in their 30s and 40s. And peace to all y'all, you included, Kim, because I'm a one degree and done. You'll never see me in a classroom again. Fuck out of here. I tried to, I tried to go to my local community college to take a a film a film production course. I was ready. I was like, oh, I'm gonna finally take a course with something that I really want to do. These motherfuckers told me that I had to bring them my college transcripts. I said, for what? They was like, because we need your college credit. Now, that told me how far community college had gone, because you used to be able to take classes even if you didn't have a high school diploma. And I know that for a fact because I was going to night school with a grown woman whose claim to fame was that her twin boys were going to West Catholic boys school. Yeah, they go to West Boys. That's how she put it. Yeah, they go to West Boys. What the? I didn't even know what she was talking about. But it was a big deal for her to be able to, her and her husband to be able to send her sons to parochial school, which and West Catholic was a popular, well-known Catholic school. I ain't considered to be all that prestigious, but you know.
Parochial school is trash. Catholic school sucks.
But to those who have never had a status symbol, my kids.
I went, and I didn't think it was status at all. It's the worst school I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, of course it wasn't status to you. When I was going, it wasn't status to me. But to somebody who doesn't have what your parents had and resources to be able to send you there, yeah, it's like remember, braces used to be a big thing back in the day.
And now the kids are getting them for no reason, just to have them in their mouth.
Adults are getting them for no reason.
Oh yeah, because I see a lot of grown people with them. I'm like, you like that?
I ain't got no problem with no kids having braces. But these goddamn 35 and 40, 50 year olds, I'm like, look, your bad teeth ain't stopped shit.
You had the same you had 10 years ago. Why are you getting... Listen, the same lady I'm talking about, she's talking about getting some braces. I'm just like, what in the name of my...
She always wanted straight teeth.
I just get quiet because she's in her 60s. I'm like, girl.
Listen, that lady is giving you an education, a midlife crisis, even though she's above mid, but she's giving you the blueprint of this show. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers be the shit that people feel like they have been maligned with or cheated out of all their lives. Once they get a certain age and they have the money, you're gonna see what's been holding them down, holding them back, restricting them, and you're gonna see where they think their problems have been their whole lives. Getting a tattoo, a Corvette, braces, I don't know, new hair out. You know what I mean? All that shit. It is what it is.
I wonder what the psychology behind it is, because I'm always saying I'm gonna dye my hair. I want to cut it and dye it. But I've always done that, so that's not anything new. But I guess because I'm a specific age, people are like, well, you probably shouldn't get your hair those colors anymore because you're older. And I'm like, fuck you and your mom. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't work in the kind of field where I can't have colored hair. So,
hey, I mean, if you consistently been doing what you've been doing, it is what it is. But we talking about people that's finally jumping off the porch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wonder what the psychology is behind it. Like, I know no two are going to be the same, but if there is
You there? Oh shit!
single box.
Oh, there you go. You had cut out for a second. I didn't hear you.
Oh no! I was saying I know no two are going to be alike, but I wonder if there's a single box, just a simple umbrella, the psychology behind the simple umbrella of it all.
Well, there is. There is. I mean, we've already said it. They wanted something their whole lives and they haven't been able to get it for whatever reason. Either they were taught to be afraid of it, so taught that it was bad for them or bad to them, or it could have been image consciousness and all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? I mean, look at all these cougars messing around with young dudes. They ain't messing around with no young dudes when they were younger. When they was 30, it ain't like they was cruising to high schools and shit. But they wait until they get like, in their 40s or 50s, and now they want to mess with 20-something-year-olds. How many 20-something-year-olds did you mess with when you were 20-something-year-old? So, they finally they might be finally getting to that age where they don't really give a fuck what anybody thinks about them as much as they used to before. So they concentrating on their own happiness. This is what they need to be okay. I mean, I don't approve of it. Don't get me wrong. I don't approve of it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. With the women, they may not have been messing around with young dudes all their lives. But the dudes, yeah, they've been chasing young girls since they was young. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm 14, but she 11. We ain't that far away, nigga. You don't get
and the. Sometimes it's a little different too, because with women, I think men, some more older men who marry younger women, and I'm like, whoa, it's stupid. But older women who deal with younger men, they are not looking to marry them. They are looking to enjoy the moment. How many they can do.
It all depends.
Sir, get your clothes on and get the hell out. I'll talk to you next week.
I've known both. I've known both. One thing that both of them have in common is that they both open up their wallets and bank accounts. Ain't no pussy for free, and neither is their dick. Because them younger dudes know that they can get chicks their own age or whatever, a baddie. I ain't gotta take this oldie. But she buying PlayStation 5, Timberlands, you know what I mean, throwing couple, I can get a motorcycle this summer. Courtesy of Miss My Woman. Yeah, them cougars will tell you that they'll be paid. They lying. They motherfucking teeth. They lied through their teeth. Like, yeah, okay. He saw what you had before he even saw you. But anyway, but yeah, messing around with younger of age of people, whatever, that might be something that people will do in a midlife crisis, and it will cost you. So I guess you could call it a purchase. Look, got me a young man. Look, got me a young woman. All right. Marvina put motorbikes, 4-wheelers and shit, toys. Mm-hmm. I've always wondered, why do they call motorized vehicles toys?
Because it's playtime when you use them. That's why.
So a car. Okay, so a practical car is useful. It's just a car, but a Ferrari is a toy.
Yeah, because it's playtime, and your demeanor is different in that vehicle than the everyday that you drive in. The whole mode is different. People pick out specific gloves and clothes and glasses to get behind that kind of wheel.
You know what? I wouldn't know. But I also couldn't see me doing that. Now, if I had the money, sure, I would buy one of those vehicles. But I don't think I have it in me to front. Like, I'm not buying no outfit to go in no goddamn Ferrari. If I already got the money to pay for to buy a Ferrari, I am the outfit. Fuck out of here. And knowing me, I'm gonna have a fleet of them anyway. not the same car, but you know, so it's just another. But okay, I mean, but I get it. You know, the stereotype for older men going through a midlife crisis with the Corvette, and some other kind of muscle car, but particularly the Corvette.
There was an older gentleman who was calling himself trying to get my face. So I knew he had just like a regular, I don't know, Camry or something. That's a regular everyday car that he drove in. But anytime he wanted to take me out, he would pull up in his little Camaro and he got all tricked out. And his whole demeanor was different. He had this little jacket he'd wear, a little leather jacket, these sunglasses. I used to stand in the doorway and think, this corny old ass nigga.
Yeah.
He would go out of his way when he would get in that vehicle.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, some old heads do take it there, and I've heard some old head dudes, you know, bragging about their money and all, and I'm like, damn, when you was younger, you must have been corny then too.
Yeah.
You had to be.
If you corny now, you was definitely corny then. You just got corny coins. That's all it is.
Yeah, I can't. Uh, I don't. Yeah, I can't. Okay, all right. Check this out. I got a friend of mine. Every time he get a new car, he find a way to bring it up in conversation. Now, I'm not. I'm. It's and the way he do it, it's like unapologetic. And I'll be like, "Are you serious?" Because I'm not around him physically, so I don't see the car that he drives. But he'll say some shit like, "Yeah, you know, when you riding around in an Audi, you know what I mean, people always want you to do." And I'll be like, I'm on the phone, like, I'm looking at the phone, like, I say, yeah, you know, I had an Audi. Yeah, but you had an older one. I said, yeah, and it was years ago. Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, but what? You wasn't even driving when I was driving. All right. You know, but okay. Hey, I get it. I get it. I get it. Um, you know, I mean, but that was his thing. That was his thing, you know, flashing money. Now, he wasn't a flashy person, but he wanted you to know that he was getting money. You know what I'm saying? Worked a regular 9 to 5 job. But the things that he did on the side were lucrative. And when he had it, he wanted you to know that he had it. And don't let you, you know, be struggling at the time. Cause he like, like at first you ain't now you at first you ain't know me. And now you all owe me. I'm like, you don't get the fuck out. Hey, okay. Hey, you don't get out my face that dumb shit you talking about. Nigga, you must be crazy. But yeah,
She got a video the other day of an old guy test driving a Corvette. He is 78. Listen, Marvina, them old men with them Corvette and Camaros and things.
they trying to get they got more money than they think that they'll be alive to spend, so they trying to get rid of some of it. I mean, that's how I look at it. Now I could be wrong. I might not have they mentality, you know, pegged or whatever, but I just think it's interesting. I tell you what, I would rather an old head dude go out and buy a car that he could afford than to find a 30-year-old woman and impregnate her at 78.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, go ahead, grandpa, buy the motherfucking car.
Yeah, I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying? Buy the car, Gramps. But please do not be putting your thing in Keita. Keita, come on, no. Keita.
Yeah, that's how I felt with that older guy. I was like, yeah, I'm not ever going to give you any cookies. The hell out of my face. I don't care what kind of car you get. Gross.
Granddad and Keita. Granddad and Keita. Granddad and Keita. Granddad and Keita. No, Keita, no.
I tell people all the time, I need me a sugar daddy, but I need the kind who just likes compliments. Like, I can't, I don't
You,
even want to hold his hand. Like, I can compliment, like, Jerome, that curl look good today, boy. You got it. Flicking.
according to the lies, and according to the lies that I've been told, you don't have to actually have sex with them, but you gotta let them feel your ass, your titties. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
don't,
Kiss
no,
on you a little bit.
no, I can't do
Hey.
that. No, gross.
Oh, well, you know, hey,
I mean, I know some women who are,
it
I know women who are into older guys.
all,
I've just never been one.
well, there's a reason that they're into older guys because they into older money. But well, all I'm saying is they don't all have to get smashed, according to the lies I've been told.
Yeah, cause yeah,
I
think they do.
mean, but I mean, they might not all be lying because a lot of those dudes have drank and smoked all their lives. They might not be able to. They might not be in shape. They might
Yeah,
not be
that's
in
true.
game shape.
That's true.
You know, but that even the ones that can't do it might still want to try.
Oh, they sure gonna get
Like
some blue
put
chew.
or look, just put the
Blue
gummy
chew
worm in your
shot.
mouth. Put the gummy worm in your mouth. You just see what happens.
Ugh. Oh, okay, moving on.
Gummy worm.
Mm,
Wow,
mm.
wow, 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 wow.
Mm. I remember when my cousin was messing with this older dude, our mutual friend, our mutual guy friend. He was so upset about it. And when I say upset, he was literally upset because he was like, he was so serious about it. He was like, why did y'all let her talk to him? She's gonna get worms. We laughed so hard, but he was so serious. He didn't find anything funny. He was like, y'all are not understanding what I'm saying. She's gonna get worms. He was so pissed about it.
Worms.
To this day, it is the funniest thing to us because he was stuck on if y'all mess with these old niggas, y'all gonna get worms.
Why do
And I've heard
people
that so many times. I'm like, what does that really mean?
why is the why do they say that why gotta be worms?
I don't
They
even
already dead messing with you. Like what do you mean worms?
because I'm always like, so she's gonna get some real worms in her cooch. What are you talking about? It's so funny to
Worms.
me. And when I hear it, I'm just always tickled by it because it's the silliest stuff. But hey, if it
What
works, it works.
what a
And that's a cousin
disgrace.
who's always been interested in older men since she was young
Mm.
because her children's father is older than me and she's younger than me. And her oldest child is older than my child. And so I'm just like, she always had a thing for older men. Ugh.
Mm.
And the tables have turned because, as you said, when they reach a specific age, then they may go for a younger man. And now her current beau is younger, much younger. So she is no longer going for the young guy. I mean, the OGs.
Mm, mm. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Okay. So I mean, and unfortunately, you know, on some real shit with the older dudes, some of them going through a midlife crisis will go ahead and impregnate a woman on some bullshit. I don't know, like trying to prove their existing potency carrying on their legacy. Like maybe all the kids they had before, they just weren't good. My old kids, they were never good. This one is going to be the one. I don't, you know. But those things like that are things that a person going through a midlife crisis might do. A man, because if he still has the ability to do it, he might be trying to prove himself.
Which one of those celebrities is it? Either Barry Manilow or Al Pacino or something? It's one of them.
It's Al Pacino and Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. They in their 80s.
The babies like in their 80s.
Mm-hmm. Tony Randall was 79 when he had his last child. He died at 84. What a disgrace. What a disgrace.
It just seems so unfair to the kid at the end of the day, though. Well, that kid is growing up without their parent based on nothing.
I made a short video asking about what do you think is the oldest age that you should father or mother, that you should be a parent. Like, what age do you think is too old to have children, to produce new children? By choice, not by, physical. And you'd be amazed at how many people do not take into consideration the child having to live without them. Like, I was on that post, I was reading comments like, as long as you're old enough and healthy enough to do. I'm like, so if you 65 years old, you wouldn't have a problem producing a child knowing that, like how old do you think you're gonna get? How old is the child gonna? They don't even be thinking like, yo, my child might have to go through high school without me. They never even a consideration. I was amazed.
That's just like people.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay. I said, there's like people who say Nick Cannon can have all the kids he wants because he has money. I said, well, it's not fair to the kids because he can't possibly be a full father to that many children. Just can't. Especially when they're close in age. You got two who have a graduation the same day and they're in different parts of the world. So you can't be at both graduations on the same day at the same time. So somebody's going to get the short end of the stick always.
People who don't have money think that people who have money have all the solutions. I mean, the more I try to deny the reality of that shit, the more people confirm it. Did you see that interview with Elon Musk's baby mom, the one that's telling everything?
No, I didn't even know that was happening because I don't keep up with that weirdo man.
Yeah. Well, Elon Musk, his baby mom, one of them, I think it's his last baby mom or some shit like that, or close to it. Mm-hmm. And she's been talking all crazy. And she was saying that she wasn't attracted to Elon or nothing like that. He kicked it, he literally sought her out on Twitter. Like, this motherfucker is a Twitter stalker. So he invited her, to France or some shit like that. He said, he told her, my only limited resource is time. But your child will be taken care of financially for the rest of his life. I got you. And she was like, in this economy, this is damn near a quote. In this economy, it would be nice to not be affected by it and not have my child have to be affected by it. So that's what I was taking into consideration when I agreed to.
Speaking about this kid has a weirdo ass dad.
I guess her thing was, how many people out here don't have no dad? And then the mom is burdened with taking on the full responsibility, and she don't have the kind of money. Her thing is like, I can be the worst parent or the best parent that I want to be, but my child will have everything that it could possibly want. There will
And
be
then she
no.
saw, and then she said, I saw him walk away and forget that he had a kid on,
Yeah,
on air.
but like Elon is a deadbeat, but a deadbeat damn near trillionaire is equivalent to a multimillionaire. You know what I mean? That's active. Ain't no way around it. So it's a crazy situation. But I only brought that up because when you don't have money, money seems like God to you. Like I could do anything in the world that I wanted to. I could be the most creative. I could be the greatest thing in this world. If I only had, if I only didn't have money to worry about. That's what people think till they actually get some money. Money is like a God. I don't have to worry about God. God worries about me. That's what they think money does until they get it. And they realize like, oh, yeah. The only thing I can do to get out of this funk is go shopping.
Mhm.
Did that the last 365 days though. Guess I'll go again. So you know what they say, 366 is a charm. But yeah, midlife crisis, having a child, you figure, you finally made it to six figures. I can take care of the child. I can lead the child something, whatever they thinking in their minds, whatever they thinking in their minds. Because I'm like, it can't be these sugar babies orchestrating these pregnancies every single time. I mean, look at that chick. Look at that chick, Caroline Levitt. Her husband old. Her husband old. This chick ain't even 30 yet. You know, but he paid. He's
She
paid.
seemed like the type, though. She seemed like the type to let any old nigga get into her if he got some coins.
Hey. Mm-hmm. And she ain't alone. She ain't alone. What up, Clay? What's good, my dude? Marina says my parents were in their 40s and 50s. I worried about them dying when I was little. I mean, how can you escape worrying about that? You know what I mean? You going to school, everybody else parents is like in their 20s and 30s, and your parents in their 40s and 50s, and you like, everybody thinking that your parents are like your grandparents, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say that it can't be okay. I would never sit in front of this camera and tell you that 45 is too old to have a child, or even 50 is too old to have a child. But I'll sit right in front of this camera and tell you that anything over 39 is a no-go for me. Ain't no babies coming out of this one. I don't give a fuck.
And the doctors definitely say a woman who's late 30s, 40s, they call it a geriatric pregnancy.
And you often put the child at risk.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, people don't like to look at that either. I get it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. St. Clay said, I mean, the same here, but mine were with me into my 40s and healthy up to last year or so. Okay. So some people just have kids and don't play the after effects. I mean, my dad. Oh, my dad died when I was a teen, but mama hung in there. Moms always, well, I ain't gonna say always, but for the most part, especially when they black, moms be outliving dads like crazy. And when when mom does pass before dad, that's always the most tragic situation in the family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Dad be left like, yo. It always seems like when a mom passes before a dad, that the dad really depended on the mom. It's not necessarily that way the other way around. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that might be just from my observation, but in all the
It's
situations,
what you're saying.
huh? I'm just saying, in the situations that I know where the father outlived the mom, it was always real tragic when the mom passed. Like it just left a void in the family like crazy. But if the dad passed first, they was able to go along a little bit more easy. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what else? What else? What we got? Midlife crisis purchase. Please, y'all, hit that like button. Please hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we do, and you know why we here. Urban Therapy with Sun Show, Sun and Kim on the line, and we are talking about midlife crisis purchases.
I
All
think
right.
that's when people start thinking about getting a business. It seems strange to get it that late, but a lot more people start a business then.
Hey, listen.
I consider it.
One thing you think about when you get close to retirement is money. You know what I mean? Because when you get in your 50s or whatever, now you starting to see some of your peers retire early. They chilling, whatever. You know, they got they financial situation straight. Not saying that they rich or nothing, but they good to go. Meanwhile, I gotta get my ass up and go to work every day. You know, I'm like, we gotta fix this. Especially if there's a chance that you might not be able to stop working at 62, 65 or whatever. Nobody trying to be working obligatory at 70 years old. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I ain't make enough to retire at 70, so you know what I mean? I'm gonna get this little security job.
Mm-hmm.
Old heads be getting security jobs. I'll be like, security? At 70? All right, all right. Sometimes the European, sometimes the uniform would do it. But yeah, investments. Trying to find independent income that will serve them into their older years. I I have no problem with it, but you got to have the right kind of business sense. You know what I mean? You got to have the right kind of business sense. I swear to God, I've always dreamed of having a store of some kind. I've always wanted to do retail. I want a store.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I want to sell shit. I want a store. Now, what kind
So
of
you don't
store?
like e-commerce
Huh?
right now? You like e-commerce?
Wait, say it again.
E-commerce. You don't want to do e-commerce
No,
right
no,
now?
no, no. I want a real store. I want a real
Okay.
store with a real location with real products in it, and people come in and buy things. I don't want to. Anybody can do the online shit. Fuck that. I want a real store. You know what? You know what? I would like a hardware store because that's what I need in my community. All the like, it's bad when the chinks have to close down. They was the last. They was the last man standing. Home Depot and Lowe's ate up everybody else. There ain't no electrical supply stores, no plumbing supply stores, no lumber yards, no roofing supply stores. All of that shit is in Lowe's and Home Depot. That's why I don't like that shit. But we did have local hardware stores where you could get a key made, Kim. A key. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to no fucking Home Depot to get no key made. That shit corny. I need a key making machine. I need with the little key maker.
Mhm.
I need one of them. You get that at the local hardware store. You know what I mean? Where you don't have to chase down somebody with an orange smock just so they can tell you the aisle that they think something is in, and they don't really have no knowledge of what you need. I don't like that shit. You go to the local hardware store, they know. Oh, you need these kind of nails. You need this kind of pipe. You need this. You need to put the. All right, I'm gonna show you how to. Yeah, you understand what I mean?
Mhm.
We don't have. No, I had one right on my corner. I had a local hardware store for years, and they closed down about. They closed down about the around the time of the pandemic, or before that, maybe like 2000.
That's how our school was. Our local one closed right before the pandemic.
Like 2018, 2009. I'm like, God damn. I mean, when I tell you how bad I miss them, you know what I mean? Getting a window fixed, Kim.
Hmm.
Cut the glass. You know? You know, some shit happened and when your storm door, the glass come out, or you want to replace the plexiglass with a screen or glass with plexiglass, real glass with you know, they do it. You ain't doing that shit in the Home Depot. You gotta buy the whole damn door. So yeah, I would like to revamp the local hardware store. We need that shit. You know what I mean? They want to put up a liquor store. Fuck. They closed down the local Walgreens. They closed down Walgreens. You know, there are no more Rite Aids. They closed down Walgreens. And you know what they made? Do you know what they replaced the Walgreens with? A motherfucking hair store. When I tell you how mad I was, look at
Hair
this. I
store.
got a picture of this shit.
Did they replace it or did the hair store just get the space?
They got the hair store got the space. But who needs that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who fucking needs that? I don't need no damn hair store. Shit. But let me show you a picture of this shit. You know what I mean? Shit had me amped. Shit. I was so vexed. I had to post that shit. Like, look at this shit. And some dude on the post talking about some. Well, the real reason that the that the Walgreens and Rite Aid closed down is because niggas be stealing. I was like, if you, get off my post, dude.
I don't think that's true at all because
It's
that's
not. It
not
wasn't true at all. It wasn't true at all. There was zero truth to that.
I know.
Where is that damn picture? I know I didn't delete
You
it.
say that about the Dollar General in my neighborhood that closed down. They've probably been here since it was a Dollar General to be there after some of the other stuff closed from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the time. Well, no, that's not the only version of that store that exists. It closed. All of them closed.
All right, you know what? Let me just go on Facebook. Yeah, yeah, I wasn't, I ain't. Shit like that really gets under my skin. Really, 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 really. Here it is. So, Herring Company, but you can see the design of the building that it used to be a Walgreens.
Yeah, it used to be a Walgreens.
We don't have any pharmacies in the area. So we gotta jump in the car now in order to go, to find a CVS or Walgreens that's still operating. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. So, yeah, my midlife crisis is go ahead, you know what I mean? Drop some dough Yeah, I mean, open up a hardware store. Like, fuck this shit. We got hammers, we got screwdrivers, we got nails, we got pipe. You know what I mean? All service. Okay. What else? What else? Midlife crisis purchases. What we got? What we
I
working
think
with,
people want
y'all?
entertainment and fun too as they get older, because they want to live and experience just having a good time and not being responsible like that. In a sense, like I worked my whole life. Now I want to enjoy some of the money I've made. So I think some of it is investing in entertainment, fun. We're going to all the concerts we can go to. We're going to travel and get to these concerts. We're going to go on this gambling boat. We're going to play bingo. Let's do all these fun things we didn't do.
Yeah, but I was talking about that with the travel thing. You know what I mean? Like, but one thing that I've seen people going through a midlife crisis do as far as purchasing is like collecting things, coins, dolls, you know, shit that could get really expensive even when it don't have to be. Pokemon cards or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, like an old head and his money is he be doing some shit. Get very, very creative. But yeah. Yeah.
Now, I've never been like older to start collecting at a later age.
I've definitely known people who've done it. Yeah, I've known people because they may not have discovered something that they wanted to start collecting, and or they didn't really have the means to start collecting something. You know what I mean? Like with dolls, you know how expensive dolls can be, and I'm talking about like not the, Barbies or whatever, but those two. But they might start getting rare Barbies, where they never open the box. You know what I'm saying? It's just a collector's item type of thing. It's just a possibility. Carrie says radical hairdos and haircuts can be a a mid.
Physical transformation.
Oh God, BBLs. And I'm not even playing. The amount of cosmetic surgery that I see going on with like, where we at with this? What are we doing? What the? What are we doing?
Between vanity surgeries and all this GLP-1 stuff, what a weird society physically gonna be.
An RV. I've been wanting an RV or a tour bus my whole life. If I leave this earth,
go for the tour bus.
Either one. I'd rather have the tour bus.
Who have RVs say all RVs really are trash. They're beautiful and all that. They say, but once you start really driving them and hitting the road with them, they just come. You realize how cheaply they're made when it comes to joints and the things that are hidden because they look so beautiful. But the people I know who have RVs all say the same thing about them.
Okay, you know what? I've known people who have had RVs. I've never heard those complaints. But an RV is just like a car, so you can have those that are really made very well, and those who well, we gonna make this affordable for you. It's gonna look good, but
most RVs come out of here.
Huh?
Most RVs come out of my state.
Is that a fact?
Yep.
I didn't know that. All I know is when I go to the Eagles games,
this is the starting point of them.
Listen, when I go to the Eagles games, man, them RVs be plush. They be elaborate. I'll be like, God damn. Like, yo, can I get... But I would rather have a tour bus because if I have a tour bus, that means I have a reason to tour.
Yeah, I'd rather have a tour bus.
You
I
know what I
say
mean?
that all the time.
I'd rather have a reason for a tour bus. But you know,
And you know, RVs can cost more than a house.
well, they are a house.
Some
You
of
can
them
live.
so
Some people I know of don't have a home. They use the RV as their home. Why not?
yeah.
Why not? Shit can cost upwards of 100-200 grand. That's a house.
Yeah.
Shoot. I mean, you drive cross country. You don't need no hotel. You are your hotel. You know what I mean? We are.
That's another thing too. That's another thing. People in midlife crisis, they start thinking about how they are housed. Because a lot more people now are opting out of living in a house or retirement community and are living on cruise ships, which I think is crazy, or living in hotels as permanent lodging. I
Hmm.
didn't even I didn't even know it was a thing until recently, and I see more and more about it. And I started investigating. But more people, older people, especially couples, are opting out of traditional housing and are choosing to live on cruise ships and in hotels.
Hmm.
And I even saw a guy who I was like, "That's crazy." Who, rather than live in a house, he preferred to live in an extended stay. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And
Sounds
he doesn't have to because he can afford a house, but he prefers to live in an extended stay.
sounds
So I think that's
expensive
a
to
good
me.
thing. No, he just he when he's like he can travel like he wants to. He doesn't have to worry about maintenance when it comes to a yard because he compares it to when he lived in a house before. He's like, I don't have to worry about cutting grass. Um, I can cook. I don't have to worry about a bunch of cleaning. He just went through a list of different things he doesn't have to work. He compares to when he lived in a house, and I was like, oh well, okay, if that's what you choose. But again, I see so many people who are choosing alternative housing, just like those who are saying instead of a big house, I want to live in a tiny house now. So there are those people who are choosing to do that. Like if I could change this house into a medium house, not so much a tiny house, but a medium house, I definitely would. Because all the time I'm thinking, how can I remove the attic in the basement? I think about that constantly. So I get it.
Okay. Okay. Mm.
I would live on the cruise ship, though. That's hell to the no.
Clay said constantly surrounded by water. Oh hell no. I got middle passage PTSD.
That part, Clay.
Oh shit.
And
Mm.
ever since the people on the cruise ship got stuck and it was feces and all that kind of stuff because the plumbing had messed up on the cruise ship. I'm good. No, thank you, Pat. And even these guys I follow on YouTube, they went on a cruise just to get away, and it was in the wintertime, and all of the plumbing froze on the cruise ship. And there was just frozen everything everywhere. It was so disgusting to me. I'm good.
Now I tell you what's disgusting. I went on a cruise in 2004. Uh what is it? What's that British cruise line called? Royal Caribbean. So Royal Caribbean is a British cruise line. So you can't get certain American things that you're used to, like Pepsi, Coke. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get that. Like the food wasn't bad, but it wasn't American food. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So but the craziest thing about being on that cruise ship was you go to the pool You go to the pool, you get in the pool expecting, chlorine and regular pool water. And the pool water was salt water.
It's the water from the. It's the water from outside of the ship.
When I tell you how pissed off I was, the water in the pool is salt water. It's clear looking and all of that, but it's salt water.
Okay.
I was like, so let me get this straight. Y'all couldn't, get the hose, from where y'all dock and get some fresh water in the pool?
Yeah.
Because I was trying to get away from that salt water. I couldn't get away from it nowhere. I was like, I'm tired of this salt water. It looks beautiful. That shit's toxic. It was worse than alcohol. There's no way you can swim in the ocean without getting some salt water in your mouth. I was like, I know I'm drinking dolphin piss.
That's what I was gonna say. You're in a fish toilet.
Well, when I'm on land,
You're in a life toilet.
and when I'm on land, aren't I kind of like an animal's toilet?
I mean, but you're not gulping it down.
When there's bad air in the air, am I not breathing it?
Yeah, I don't compare it to the same. You can compare it all you want to. I don't.
Okay. My point is, I was looking for what I couldn't get.
Right.
that's my whole point. I just wanted regular chlorine pool water. I got in that water. I was like, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
Who wants to be in salt water? Who? And I was thinking to myself, like, I bet you they have regular water on Carnival. Everybody want to diss Carnival Cruise Lines because that's the black cruise line, as if black people own it. But that's where all the black people go. I bet you I could have.
Black people have pride on it. That's how that is.
I bet you they have. I bet you they have Coke and Pepsi. I bet you I could have got a Sprite. I bet you I could have got a good cheeseburger. I bet you I could have got, regular American food. That's good. I bet you I could have gotten a pool that didn't have salt water. I bet you. I ain't hear nobody come from Carnival Cruise Line talking about some, don't get in the pool. You don't want that.
Oh yeah, people are living on trains too. I almost forgot that. They're living on trains as well.
Like risky business.
Hey.
Yeah.
Shout out to those people. I don't think I could do it. And maybe if I was older, I would feel different. But no, I like living on land. That land works for me. You want to live land?
Yeah. Let me see. One thing. Well, on a more positive note, sometimes when people are going through a midlife crisis, they may go over and above the normal thing to provide for their grandchildren.
Oh yeah, definitely that.
You know what I mean? They might spoil the shit out of their grandchildren way more.
They become new people. They get a whole new personality when it comes to grandchildren. Because I remember my son was acting up one day and I was taking over to my mother's house. I was like, oh, he's going to get it. We got there. She was like, oh, what's wrong, Rich? Who's doing it to my baby? I was thinking, who are you? Can you please go get the lady to beat the hell out of me? Get her, because I don't know who you are. Sis, I don't know who you are. This kid is acting up. I need you to get him. And no, none of that happened. He even got a treat and all kind of stuff. I said, oh, okay. This is how we doing it.
Mm.
So you can say new personalities.
Well, I don't necessarily know if I would. I wouldn't call it a new personality. What I would say is, one thing about being a parent is that you have to be a parent in real time. When you're a grandparent, you have more autonomy on how you want to provide because you don't have to
I'm not
provide
making
anything.
excuses for those people.
Huh?
I'm not making excuses for them pride people.
Okay, so yeah, you have more autonomy because you don't have to provide anything. So you may be looking at the things that you the mistakes that you made raising your own children, and you may be hell bent on making sure that your grandchildren have a better shot. It happens. Now, um, my stepdad spoiled the grandchildren. My mom spoiled the grandchildren. My dad didn't spoil the grandchildren because he was a father along with he had to be a father before he could be a grandfather. You know what I mean? Because he never stopped. So I'm just keeping it a buck. He did grandfather things, but my daughter and his other grandchildren were the same age as some of his children. So it is what it is. But other grandparents, who had time to just be a full time grandparent, they said, "Well, look, I already worked all my life. I got my money, whatever. I mean, I'll make sure that my grandbabies have everything." So they did it. Now,
Yes.
being a parent is a lot. There's a lot more to being a parent than just buying your kids shit. So grandparents don't have to. They don't necessarily have to do all of the work. The grandkids already have been taught to respect them and whatever. So they can just show love and buy gifts. Not all of them do it, but I'm talking about the ones who do. They may go over and above the normal call of grandparental duty in order to provide for their grandchildren, even
Mm.
even if they have to provide housing for them or whatever through their children. So it is what it
So,
is. All right, we've done this. We can go. Let's do the poll question, and then I can let you good people be on your way. Let me see. Out of 23 votes, what is something that you think that every 40 plus year old should have? And I'm sorry for what I didn't put in this poll, but um 13% said a home of their own. Only 13% said a home of their own. Wow. 17% said marriage, like being married or having children. The overwhelming majority, 68%, said money and savings and investments. Ain't that about a bitch? I told you, money is the thing, Kim. Money, 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 money. And 4%, which would equal probably one vote, said significant travel outside of the U.S. Now, that's only, a small segment of the population, 23 votes. But that's our only testable case study for now. I would like to see what it would look like if we were able to have 500 people, even 100 or 200 people. I wonder what direction they would go. Is there anything on this list that you would have put on there, Kim? Kim?
no,
Okay. Okay. Um, when I finished the list, I thought about military service. I thought about
mm,
I thought about
trying to think about that you just said it. That makes sense.
mhm, um political involvement of some kind. You know what I mean? Like even with everything that we know about politics, there's so many people who are totally in the dark about it. Don't know how it works outside of what the media tells them. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that you should probably understand at 40. You're like, okay, here's one. Here's one. How to understand the terms of a loan, like a bank loan or something like that. You know what I mean? People, you know what I mean? People get loans and they don't understand how it works. They know they have to pay the money back, but they don't understand interest rates or APR or yields. They don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? So they wind up paying back so much more than, like, let's say you buy a car, you finance a car. Now, back in the days when it used to be 48 months, 60 months, when that was a standard, if you count up your payments over 60 months, whatever your payments were, mathematically, you should get the price that you paid for the car. But with the interest and all of that kind of stuff, some people wound up paying double for the car just because they had bad credit. So understanding how what the terms of a loan works, how it works, is something that I think at 40 you should understand, because you're going to be relying a lot on credit after 40 years old. The stakes are a little bit higher after 40 years old. Even if the stakes are just higher in the area of you maybe taking out a student loan for your high school graduate. You know what I'm saying? But you should know how it works. So that's one of the things that I would have put on there. And I don't know how many people would have agreed with that, but hey, it is what it is. Kim, I want to thank you for coming on. And I want you to have a wonderful day going forward.
You too. Everybody have a good one.
All righty. You have a good day. All right. All right, y'all. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious May 30th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special, because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Crystal Jones, and also Demetria, Kibi, Merriman, and Latasha Jones, Arenia Johnson, Kendra Leggett, Tiana Wallace, E-Class Benz, Sasita Dawson, and my girl Candace Dorsey. Last but not least, I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious May 30th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. Anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, Old heads, old heads. Yo, I understand that you reach your age. It's time for you to break out, release the cage, open it up, undo the lock. Yo, it's time for us to do the damn thing. Yo, you rock. And you've been waiting a long time, but you're not an old timer. It's time to go to rhymer. Yo, what we gonna do? Are we going to have a lot of fun for the rest of the crew? Are we going to have to rock? Let me see what my man was talking about. Hold on. What did Clay say about check? He said, check. Oh shit! Hold on. What did he say about the hardware store? The hardware store. The name of your hardware store should have a carpenter's level. Carpenter's level is the symbol. The name levels is good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the levels is good hardware store. Levels is good. Levels is good. Levels is good. Yeah, I'm dead serious about that hardware store though. I would love to have a hardware store. Like, yeah, man. You know what I mean, we gonna do something for the community that's real. That's real. Yo, y'all, I want y'all to have a great day, a great rest of the day. You know what I mean? It's not all that warm out. You know, like what we got on the temperature side of things? See what we got on the temperature side of things. 67 degrees right now. And I think it's only going up to 69. No, 68 is all we're going to get. 68 is all we're going to get. And it's 68 right now. But that's okay. That's all right. That's okay. Tomorrow's going to be 78. So we all right. We still springy. We still spring. We ain't summery. We springy. Make sure y'all hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. I appreciate y'all coming through. I hope y'all enjoy listening to the show as much as I enjoy broadcasting it. I will get back to y'all. Be safe out there. Peace.